Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk some Packers. We're going to talk some top 30 visits as the news just broke loose today. Got a ton of topics. Got a lot to get to. Gents, how are we doing? How are we doing today, gentlemen?
Ready to roll, man. Breaking news. We got some visits. We got some Jaire speculation. It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. We've
The
got a couple of more.
Chat's going and ready right now. I'll tell you what.
Oh, yeah. They're fired up. I'm hoping I can get to a mock draft at the end because we got to redeem ourselves from last night, boys. Let me tell you something. I woke up with a sore ass where people were kicking it all night long in the comments, all right? And it's funny. I said I got nothing to do with this, and they still came down hard on me. So it is what it is. Now, want to add this before we get to the top 30 visits in the Jaire update. Obviously, we added 2 new players to the Spade list, all right, on the draft board. And you guys know the Spade list means Senior Bowl participant, top 30 visit, and they meet the athletic threshold. So we now have 5 players that are kind of primed for the picking for the Packers. And we're going to talk about these players, but those 2 now are obviously Walter Nolen and Jordan Birch have been added to that list along with Trey Amos, TJ Sanders, and Shamar Stewart. So going to be a lot of fun diving into that. Let's hit this Jaire talk real quick as Rob Demovsky tweeted this out earlier, and I thought it was really, really interesting. Listen, Tim said it best. We kind of beat this Jaire story to death, right? Here's the thing. The decision may have been made behind the scenes and we don't know it, right? But we're going to cover every step of the way because I think it's very, very important. Obviously, if Jaire's not on the team, there's some folks that think the cornerback room is going to be fine. I felt like they did pretty good without him last year. Although, you guys know I've been very vocal. I hope he's back as a Packer. But, man, it's seeming like it's probably not going to happen. You guys know when I talk about Tom Silverstein, they call him Spoon, been with the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel forever, right? It's common knowledge to me, I've been told, that when Spoon puts a hard stance out there in an opinion, it's most likely coming from Goody within the front office. He's got that tight-knit relationship with the front office. So this is a way, just like agents use Ian Rappaport and people like that to get a message out, with the contract details and this and that. Spoon is the one that I think Goody kind of uses to spread the word on certain topics. Okay, so here's what Rob Demovsky says. You guys may or may not know, he's been raked over the coals for covering this whole Jaire thing, right? Everybody thinks that Rob Demovsky is a Jaire hater. I'm not here to say he is or isn't. That is what it is. You guys draw your own conclusion. But here's what Rob Demovsky tweeted out earlier. To everyone who thinks there's some personal vendetta here against Jaire, Tom Silverstein also reporting the same thing, that one way or another Green Bay is planning to move on. If you don't believe my reporting, maybe you'll believe Spoon's. All right, so here's the key points from an article that Spoon wrote. The Green Bay Packers are still looking to trade or release Jaire Alexander despite deciding months ago to move on. All right. The second point, while there has been trade interest, Alexander's salary and potential unwillingness to adjust his contract have hindered a deal. So it seems like Jaire saying, nope, not reworking the deal is what's kind of holding up a deal. Now, why would Jaire do that if indeed he is? It's so he can have control over where he goes, right? If he makes this, and I'm not saying he's doing this in a derogatory way, like, hey, he's trying to be anti-Packers. But if he wants to have his pick of the litter on what team to go to, then you make it as difficult as possible to trade him, and then you just have to cut him out right now. He can decide wherever he wants to go, right? Can't fault him for doing that if that is the case. Again, I'm not saying it is. Tea leaves kind of look like it's leaning in that direction. The other point, the Packers may be more likely to find a trade partner after the draft if teams are unable to address their cornerback needs. We've talked about that on this show forever. Like, if the team comes out of the draft and go, damn it, the board didn't fall the way we wanted to. I'll tell you somebody that happens to all the time. It's us doing mock drafts, right? So I guarantee you it's a common occurrence for the other 31 teams across the league, or however many, handful there are looking for a cornerback. So wait till after the draft, and then team goes, okay, we didn't get what we wanted at corner. Let's go get Jaire Alexander. So want to get your all's thoughts here. You may have thoughts, you may not. It's totally cool either way. What do y'all think about those 3 points? And the fact that Spoon is reporting is what's really interesting to me.
Tim?
Oh, I was going to let you go first.
Nope. This year.
I think there's, truth to both sides of the story right here. But like you said, Clay, like it's not just, Rob Domofsky, everybody's favorite beat writer, but Tom Silverstein is reporting this as well. So, where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't think it's a big secret that, here we pretty much look at this as the relationship may or may not have soured between Ja and the team. But however, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm still standing on that. I'm still 50-50. I still believe there's a chance they could just say, hey, play out your contract, and he could stay a Packer. I do think that a trade on draft day or after the draft is more likely than a post June 1 cut, I think, personally. In this scenario. So just my opinion on the matter. I'm good either way. I feel really good about our cornerback room. You guys know I'm a huge Jaire fan, but setting that aside, with or without Jaire, I feel pretty good about our CB room going into this year and going into this draft, quite frankly. We could add another rookie talent at the cornerback position in the draft, possibly. So I think Goody did his due diligence by bringing in Nate Hobbs and making sure that if we do move on from Ja, that it's kind of a seamless transition. You've got guys you can rotate in there. We have Carrington Valentine coming off his best season of football last year, a guy who certainly has earned more reps. So I feel good about the CB room either way.
Yeah. Deadfish says, so you're saying to draft all the cornerbacks in the draft to create a need for Ja. I like his chest right there. Go ahead. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, I've been back and forth. Like Tim said, he's at 50-50 right now. I'm probably back to 80-20 that Ja doesn't play, but there is the situation of, there's not a negotiation. You have a contract, play the contract out, and then we'll go from there kind of thing. And I do think there is a lot more credence that it's coming from Silverstein, not to throw so much shade at Rob Domofsky, but like you highlighted, when it comes out of Tom Silverstein's mouth, it's generally the truth coming from an actual source with actual people putting their name behind it. So it is a little bit, it stinks to have a rough ending to any kind of relationship, especially with one that we were so high on at one point, which I was as big as a Jaire supporter as you can get. And unfortunately kind of ended a little rocky. And if this is the absolute end, I think Tim's right. It's probably going to happen more likely after the draft, or during.
Yeah. Eldergrim says, am I the only one who isn't a fan of corners available outside of the top 40? If we don't take one in the first, I'm not bothered to take one at all, to be honest. That's what we've ran into, Eldergrim, if I'm reading your comment correctly here. It's like once you get past the second round, boy, there ain't a whole lot going on there, in my opinion, according to our board anyway. And again, Trey Amos is the one that jumps off the page for the Packers. Threshold, team captain. Packers have met with him multiple times, and also a top 30 visit. And he was a Senior Bowl participant. He's the one that played a multitude of styles of defense, both zone and man, in that Ole Miss defense down there. So after him, again, we met with Savone Rebel as well. You guys know I like Savone Rebel. I think the injury concerns are a little bit overblown. Personally, we've talked about that in the detailed scouting report. But he's more of a press man than a zone heavy. You can look at that one of two ways. It's easier to teach somebody how to play zone than it is man. It just seems like those guys are kind of born with the ability to play man. You can adjust the technique and this and that, but you got to be able to mirror and match. So I'm with you, Eldergrim. That's the part that's rough. Now, to go back to what Tim said, I agree with you, Tim. It's not like this was a bad pass defense. This was not a bad pass defense. It wasn't. And that was without Ja the majority of the season. They would be better with Jaire, a healthy Jaire, but I'm not freaking out either. And again, if you hadn't went and gotten Nate Hobbs, I'd be going, oh, crap. But the fact that you go get Nate Hobbs, and again, opening up the checkbook a bit, says everything you need to know about how much Brian Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur, Jeff Hafley, and probably Rich Bisaccia feel about Nate Hobbs, that they can maybe rekindle that rookie fire that he had, where he just absolutely balled out with the Raiders. SDM40 says Goot found Valentine in the 7th, while us amateurs barely skim the surface. Yep. Yeah, the Valentine pick, you got to keep in mind too, SDM40, wasn't like Valentine popped the first year, bro. He sucked the first year. Now it really clicked in the second. So if we're talking about, hey, we need someone to contribute right now, and I think that's what people are freaking out about with Jaire, if they are freaking out, is like, hey, how are we going to replace this guy this year? But the article goes on to say it's been nearly 3 months since the Green Bay Packers decided they would go into the 2025 season without Jaire Alexander, yet here they are, with the April 24th through 26th NFL draft staring them in the face, no closer to trading or releasing him than they were in early February. Obviously, they were receiving interest. Tom Silverstein had tweeted this out earlier today. Green Bay Packers are receiving interest in Jaire Alexander, but a trade is not imminent. So you guys go check out that article that Spoon put out. And again, Rob Domofsky obviously put that tweet out. Make sure you give it a like, retweet it, what have you. So, and again, I'll say this about Rob Domofsky. He's had sources on both sides, both in Jaire's camp and the Packers camp. So he's been all over this thing way more than Spoon has. But it kind of feels like Spoon came in like the big brother and was like, hey, boys, y'all stop roasting Rob because this is a real thing, So There you go, little Jaire update. We'll see what happens. I don't know what to think. I'm tired of putting percentage on it. 1 second we're like, hey, he's working out with the boys, he'll be back. The next second it's you get this from Spoon, which makes me think it probably trickled down from the front office. So just something to kind of keep an eye on for sure.
Things could be a lot worse. I could be a Bears fan.
Let's now get into some top 30 visits. That sound good, boys?
Yeesh.
I'll tell you, man, this was an exciting day. All day long, I was out there on the grind, and I know, Jacob, you were at the office, and Tim was doing way more important things. And boy, oh boy, they just came. It was like the floodgates opened earlier today as Easton Butler was tweeting these out. They came from Tom Silverstein, I believe, had 1 or 2 of these as well. But Packers reportedly schedule a top 30 visit with Arizona wide receiver Tetairoa, however you want to say his name. I think it's Tetairoa McMillan.
Here's a guy.
So, guys, no secret, this is the top receiver on our board. He's actually the number 5 prospect. Before we dive into the PFF grades and everything else, what's your all's initial thoughts on Tet McMillan? Is it something that if he falls to 23, great, but if you could trade up and get him, would you be willing to trade up and get him? How do you guys feel about this? I'll start with you this time, Jake.
Man, I believe at this point that if Tet falls at 23, I would be totally fine with us taking the pick. In a weird way, I almost would feel better if we just didn't have to deal with that situation and we maybe focused on a D lineman or an edge or something, a cornerback that was more of a striking, glaring need, in my opinion. McMillan is definitely a freak of nature in certain aspects, but in others, he's a little bit lacking. I mean, the guy probably runs an actual 4.6 40. You know what I mean? Is he the actual type of X receiver that's going to dictate that people change coverages for him? I don't honestly think that anymore. Whereas I did think he was a bigger difference maker when I just kind of saw a lot of the stats and a lot of the highlights and that kind of stuff. I'm at the point now where I don't think that he's the type of player that's going to be an immediate gem in the wide receiver room. I would much rather have Jaden Higgins. I would much rather have, I think, even Trey Harris for the value. And I'd much rather have Torrey Horton in like the 3rd or 4th if we could snag him. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'd still, if he's there at 23, that'd be a really interesting choice to have. And I'd be totally fine with it. It's just, that's how I feel.
Got it. What about you, Tim?
I'll probably back you up on that one, Jacob. I agree. I think trading up to get him is a bit of a reach. I do think, though, at 23, and we want a receiver, if we break the mold and take a first-round pick wide receiver, T-Mac's one of those names that's you got to think of. There's that handful of names that you might use a first-round pick on at wide receiver, and I certainly think he's one of them. That being said, I don't see them aggressively pursuing him and giving up draft capital to go up and get him. So I'm with you. I like Jaden Higgins. There's been no secret about that. And I do think that there is some early to mid round receiver value, second, third round. But then, we talked about corner being kind of thin after, those top 40 guys. It's receivers very close to that as well. But there is some talent in this draft. So, I'm not super high on T-Mac. I know a lot of people are, but I'm not low on him either. So I think if they want to pull the trigger on a wideout at 23 and he's on the board, we should not be surprised at all if they do in fact draft him.
And keep in mind, Brian Gutekunst was the only general manager at his pro day, and they have him in for a top 30 visit. So really interesting. Coach Lynn says, would love McMillan in the first. Ball skills are crazy good. The other thing about McMillan that stood out to me, and we're going to get into the full scouting report now, his fluidity in and out of the breaks. Like he does not move like he's 6'4". Like this dude is just so smooth in transition. And he's a volleyball player as well. He's got extreme body control. The production was just crazy off the charts from the time he stepped in as a freshman in college as well. So let's get into it. The Green Bay Packers have reportedly scheduled a top 30 visit with Arizona wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan. Per team sources, eyeing him as a potential number 1 receiver in the 2025 NFL Draft. Ranked number 5 on our PTA big board, McMillan brings a towering 6'4", 219-pound frame with elite ball skills and versatility, offering Green Bay a matchup nightmare capable of dominating as an X or Z receiver to elevate their passing attack.
Look at that photo right there too in the Patreon, man. Nothing like a stiff arm while getting face masked. Yeah. At least we know T-Mac is not afraid of confrontation out there at all.
And here's what we got in high school. Scouting report coming out of high school was a 5-star recruit from Servite High School in Anaheim, California in the 2022 class. Tetairoa McMillan earned a 96.45 grade from On3. That's out of 100, by the way. Ranking as the number 37 overall prospect and number 4 wide receiver nationally at 6'5", 190. Obviously, you notice how every one of these reports, they're an inch taller than they actually are. It's funny how they all do that. He showcased exceptional size, hands, and body control, recording 88 receptions for 1,302 yards and 18 touchdowns as a senior, earning California State Player of the Year honors. A 3-sport athlete, football, basketball, volleyball. His basketball background highlighted his leaping ability and coordination. McMillan committed to Arizona over offers from Oregon, USC, LSU, Miami, Notre Dame, Texas, and Penn State. Seen as a rare talent and immediate college impact potential. So there's what he does good, obviously, man. High point in the ball. This dude is a possession receiver for sure. College statistics. McMillan's 3-year career at Arizona from 22 to 24 showcased consistent dominance with 0 fumbles across his tenure. In 2022, he played 12 games, recording 39 catches for 702 yards and 8 touchdowns, leading all true freshmen nationally in receiving yards. In 2023, he played 13 games, recording 90 catches for 1,402 yards and 10 touchdowns, earning second-team All-Pac-12 and third-team All-American honors. In 2024, he played 12 games, recording 84 catches, 1,319 yards, and 8 touchdowns, including a program record 304 yards against New Mexico, earning first-team All-Big 12 and first-team All-American honors. His career totals were 37 games, 213 receptions, 3,423 yards. That's a school record, and 26 touchdowns. When you look at the PFF grades, 2022 as a true freshman, 66.5. In 2023, jumped all the way to an 87.4. 2024, he drops back to an 84.8. So his sophomore year in college, he was the highest graded receiver. Now you got the production, you've got the PFF grades, you've got the scouting report from high school, like everything. There was not one point throughout his career so far where he dipped. Like, he took a step back. Injuries as well. I think he had like a preseason injury that they set him out for camp, and then he was ready to go and didn't miss very minimal time if he did it all. The other thing I want to point out, look at the slot snaps set at 117. So he can kick inside of the slot as well. You got 588 out wide, 117 in the slot, so you got some versatility there. Here's the detailed scouting report entering the draft. This is from Dane Brugler, okay? A 3-year starter at Arizona, McMillan flexed across the formation, 78.1% of his snaps wide, 21.6% in the slot. In the Wildcat spread scheme, Dino Babers and Matt Atkins share play calling duties in 2024, while catching passes from his longtime best friend Noah Fafita, the Hawaiian native, was one of the most productive players in college football over the past 2 seasons. He led the FBS in combined receiving yards at 27-21, first downs at 112, and catches of 20 yards or more with 42. Showing off his volleyball and basketball background, McMillan shines at the catch point and uses his Gumby-like body adjustment skills to frame the football with his hands regardless of the placement or action required. With heavy helpings of slants, hitches, and go routes on tape, he is at his best when he can stretch out his stride. He has the feet of a smaller athlete, but will need time to expand his route tree and pacing to avoid giving away subtle hints that savvy NFL corners will notice. Overall, McMillan is only average in the speed and separation categories, but he is a long and limber athlete with exceptional tracking and ball-winning instincts. He fits the T. Higgins mold as a unique playmaker because of his size and catch point skills. Here are his strengths. Tall, long, and limber athlete with volleyball background, exceptional ball skills, and consistently stabs away from body with large hands, massive catch radius with length and body control to contort frame to off-target throws. Catch point focus looks the same whether wide open or in a crowd, so he doesn't get kind of hindered by there being bodies around him, right? Consistently works back to the pass instead of waiting for it, like that. Finishes the catch strong to the ground. Galloping route strides help him reach top speed quickly. That's that stride length that Greg Cosell talks about all the time. Light feet to cleanly sink and pivot at the top of routes. Heightened awareness along sideline to get feet down inbounds. Slippery after the catch, a knack for hitting the brakes post-catch and smoothly redirecting away from pursuit. Terrific run balance as a ball carrier, number 3 among FBS receivers with 28 forced missed tackles in 2024. So he's not just a jump ball guy. He's making guys miss with yak. Average sustained strength, but uses body well to shield as a blocker. Sells Nalo apparel, which refers both to his hometown – I'm not going to try to say that. And personal motto, negative attitudes lose opportunities. I like that. So positive dude. Durable, didn't miss a game in 3 seasons at Arizona, all 37 games he played. That's pretty impressive. Ranked number 1 all-time at Arizona in receiving yards with 3,423. Number 3 in touchdown grabs with 26. And number 4 in catches with 213. Before we get into the injury and character concerns, what's your all's thoughts so far? Anything change? How are we feeling about it?
I think one of the things with T-Mac that doesn't get talked about enough is the FBI and the football IQ that he has. We talk about the physical attributes and, the catch point and the route tree and all these things, but he's a smart player for a young player and a guy that I think would catch on pretty quick in the NFL. The thing I'm struggling with him is I see him going, relatively early in the first round. I could also see him slipping to the bottom of the first round, maybe even out of it, depending on how the board shakes up. So it's kind of where I'm at on him, but definitely he's, I feel like the mental aspect of his game doesn't get as much attention as the physical. He's a smart player.
Yeah, I agree with that, Tim. And I think maybe I should clarify my statements before. It's not that at 23 I wouldn't be super pumped. I think more what you said, Tim. I wouldn't feel comfortable giving up more draft capital to move up to chase a guy like Tet. But, I mean, there's no denying what this guy brings to the field. He's about as consistent. You know what you're going to get from him. If you give him opportunities, he's going to give you production. And I think a good point is that what Coach Len highlighted here, he goes, I think McMillan was bored in college. That may be why he looked disinterested at times. It sounds like maybe a drastic statement, but it's not. It's literally, it's like when Emilio's playing Madden and he's playing on, rookie, and he's running up scores 120 to nothing because he's got no real skills. That's what he gets bored.
I can see Emilio running to his computer right now.
I know. I hope he is. Yeah. But it's the more you read about him, I mean, the durability. Look at freaking Emilio. Where is he?
I love it.
Always rookie and always self-adjust the sliders all the way to the right for himself, right?
Always. All right, injury and character concerns. McMillan has been mostly durable, playing 37 games over 3 seasons. Through a lower leg injury in spring of 2024, sidelined him for part of fall camp. yet he missed no games. He played through minor ankle tweaks in 2023 and 2024, showing toughness. Off the field, McMillan is a high-character leader, praised for his work ethic and team-first mentality. Coaches vouch for his maturity and preparation, despite anonymous scouts claiming he doesn't love the game, stemming from a secretly filmed comment where he said he doesn't like watching film outside the facility, falsely reported as, quote, refuses to watch film.
Yep.
No off-field issues have been reported. His Polynesian College Football Player of the Year award in 2024 reflects his cultural leadership as well. So
let's go.
Again, they said
have
he
you guys
was
known any Polynesian prospects that turned out not to be good football players? Like it's
No.
just the streak is
They're
just
all good.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, Coach Lynn said he said about the film 2 years ago, coming from Hawaii. I wouldn't like watching film either in college. Got that right. So again, it got
Honestly,
reported
think
as
about
he
that.
refuses to watch film. He thinks he's too good to watch film. And on that video, he just said, "Yeah, I mean, I really don't like watching film outside of the facility." Like,
Yep.
you know, that's basically you're saying and he was a freshman in college when he said that, by the way. And that got reported, as you guys remember. And I want to give a shout out to Warren Sharp, not that he knows who the hell I am, but he got very vocal on this. Like, it's ridiculous that it took 24 hours to us to figure out this video was from his freshman year. The people who posted that video, the people that reported on that video, conveniently left that part out as if it happened this year. So
Yep.
I think this is just like the James Pierce Jr. stuff, man. It's just like you can tell people are putting as much stuff out as possible to get these top ranked prospects to drop as quickly as they can. RAS obviously incomplete. There's no reason to test to the max, in my opinion. Composite size grade was elite, though, 6'4", 219. 40-yard dash was a 4.53. There were some reports that it was sub 4.5 40. The official on the card is a 4.53. Arm length, 31.5 inches. He's got 10-inch hands as well, so the catch radius, big hands, absolutely huge. Here's his draft projection. Tet McMillan projects as a top 10 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, aligning him with his number 5 ranking on the PTA Big Board. His combine measurables, we just talked about, we're not going to repeat them, and on-field production make him a scheme-versatile fit for Green Bay's need for a dominant outside receiver to complement Jordan Love's play style. His ceiling is a perennial Pro Bowl wide receiver 1, akin to Mike Evans or Drake London. By the way, people were comparing him to those two players, and Greg Cosell said he's a better version of Drake London, is what he said. That's how he felt. Okay. While his floor is a reliable number 2 receiver, the Packers' visit paired with his Big 12 Pro Day performance and meetings with teams like the Jets and Patriots signals a strong top 10 buzz, and his record-breaking Arizona tenure could push him into the top 5. He's the number 1 receiver on the PTA Big Board. And if you look where he's been mocked here lately, April 15th, 9th to the Saints. April 15th, 12th to the Cowboys. April 14th, 5th to the Jaguars, April 14th, 8th to the Panthers, April 14th, 12th to the Cowboys. On April 14th, CBS and Michael Rainer, or Rainier, however you say the name, had him going 23 to the Packers. I think if he lasts to 23, there's no way Goody can pass up on Tet McMillan at 23.
No.
I just don't think he's going to be there. I really don't.
Yeah.
So, any other thoughts on Tet McMillan, gents?
Yeah. I got a question. Well, first of all, I don't think he's gone past Dallas at 12 because I think either Dallas, if they're going to do something with Genty or something, they have to make a splash play. Like Jerry Jones is just on his last limb, and I feel like it just seems like such a good spot. Not what I'd want him to go, but it just seems like that the Cowboys, Tet, it just seems like a match made in heaven. That's my opinion. Now, Tim,
cool. Jaden Higgins at 23. Let's go.
All right, I was just going to say, what situation would you feel more comfortable with? And I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but would it be trading up anywhere in the first to get a Tet or trading up in the second to get yourself a Jaden, Mr. Higgins?
Oh, I don't like the idea of trading up for either, to be honest with you.
Exactly. But
I'm looking to trade back. If Ted's there at 23, run the damn card. But if the value is just too good, you're talking about a top 5 prospect. If our board, let's just pretend, and I know it doesn't, let's pretend for a second, our PTA Big Board looks just like Brian Gutekunst's. If he's there at 23, he's going to be the highest graded prospect on the board, hands down. The rest of those guys are going to be gone, no doubt about it. And again, you get him in for a top 30 visit. Jacob, you were kind of a little worried about the speed, right? Like it might not be as good as people are reporting. They're going to get a look at that. Jaden Reed, right, if you'll remember, he ran a 4.5 40 as well. And then later, Goody and them had him in for a top 30 visit. And after they drafted him, they said, yeah, we had a 4.4 speed on him in-house. So that could happen as well, right? And that's where we're obviously not behind the scenes. But they'll also get a good feel for, all right, is this dude all about football? And that seems to be one of the concerns because of the anonymous reports, So
what do you think about this? So obviously H.E. Soder says if you want Higgins, you got to get up to 23, assuming he's there. Eldegrim, who, by the way, welcome back, haven't seen you in a minute. I like this. He says, trade back in the first, get Amos, use that draft capital to trade up and grab Higgins in the second. Oh, that'd be so amazing.
Trade back in the first, get Amos, then use that draft capital to trade back up and get Higgins. That makes a lot of sense.
It really does, doesn't it?
Amos in the first, if you trade back and get a little closer to that 32nd pick, that makes the Amos pick seem a lot more legit to me. Although, if they take him at 23, then that means he wowed them with the visit, right? Trey Amos being he, obviously. So what do you think about that scenario, Tim? Would you be okay with that?
I would, in a perfect world, right? We get this extremely talented corner and we end up with an extremely talented receiver with the first 2 picks in the draft. I mean, kick your feet up and relax the rest of the draft. At that point, I'm sure we would take care of our D-line needs and some of the other areas we talked about. So I'm not totally against it. I'm just I'm wondering what the likelihood is that we go corner and or wide receiver in the first or second round in this draft. I think there's as strong a case or as strong a chance as there's ever been this year. But that being said, like you always talk about precedence, Clayton, I just it's been a long time since we took a flyer in the first round on a receiver.
Fred McFarley says top 30 visits aren't workouts. That's not true, sir. They can agree to workouts in-house. We just don't hear about them. We heard about the Jaden Reed one afterwards. So just keep that in mind. They may not have to work out, but you bring somebody in for a top 30 visit and they go, I ain't working out for you. Probably not going to go good on draft night. So, yeah. And again, we don't know what all goes on behind the scenes at the top 30 visits. So, again, the Jaden Reed one's the one that sticks out to me when they said, yeah, when we had him in-house, he ran a 4.4 40. So, that's what we had on the clock for him. But all right, moving on to the next one. Anything else on Tet McMillan, gents, before we jump into the next one here? And you guys know I'm excited about this next one.
No, we can keep it rolling. Are we going to talk about Walter Nolen now?
Yes, sir, we are. Fred McFarley says agree to disagree. If you want to disagree with Goody, man, we can agree to do that, bro. That's cool. Totally cool. All right, Walter Nolen. Packers reportedly scheduled a top 30 visit with Ole Miss defensive tackle Walter Nolen. The Green Bay Packers have reportedly scheduled a top 30 visit with Ole Miss Optimus Prime. Is that what they called him? Ole Miss Optimus Prime, Ole Miss defensive tackle Walter Nolen, per team sources, targeting him as a disruptive force in the 2025 NFL Draft. Ranked number 19 on our PTA big board, Nolen brings a chiseled 6'3", 296-pound frame with a rare agility and power, offering Green Bay a versatile lineman capable of playing multiple gaps to bolster their defensive front. I want to get your all's initial thoughts before we dive into the scouting report. We'll start with you this time, Tim. On the surface, based off what you got right now, before we get into all the details, would you be okay with Walter Nolen at 23?
Absolutely. I mean, I'd be good with a handful of defensive tackles at 23, but Walter Nolen is high up on that list for me. I like Tyleik Williams as well. Kenneth Grant, there's, Derek Harmon, there's a lot of names out there, but Walter Nolen just looks like an absolute dog. And I would have zero problem with him being the 23rd pick in the draft.
Yeah, I feel like PFF has maybe shuffled around a little bit because as of right now, it's Mason Graham is the first ranked interior defender. Number 2 is Walter Nolen. And I know for a while there was much different. And it looks like our guy Harmon and Alexander, they're starting to fall a little bit. It's very intriguing. I think was it you, Clayton, that sent a message today? I read that he went to school, high school in Tennessee, somewhere around y'all. And then, I forgot that he was like the highest ranked. If I remember correctly, I was listening to a podcast. They said that he was the highest ranked high school prospect the year he came out. Number 2 was Travis Hunter. Yeah. So it's like, dude, I mean,
He played for Powell High School. We'll talk about it here in a second. That's my old stomping grounds down there just north of Knoxville. And, I didn't realize this because I kind of got unplugged from college football for a little bit, high school recruiting. But he was the number one prospect in the entire country, and he led them to a state championship. And I'm telling you, when I lived in Knoxville, Powell was not competing for state or for national champions. Sorry about that. They were not competing for championships, man. What wasn't going to happen? I'm just telling you right now. No, it's state. I'm sorry, state championship. So it's obvious that he revolutionized that high school, and he still stays plugged in there, it sounds like. So let's get into it, boys. Look at this guy right here out of high school. How'd you like to line up across from him at about 160 pounds? You know what I'm saying? Scouting report coming out of high school, a 5-star recruit from Powell High School in Powell, Tennessee in the 2022 class. Walter Nolen earned a 99.59 grade from
Good Lord.
ranking him as a number one prospect in the country. At 6'4", 325 pounds, there's that extra inch. He dominated with explosive first step quickness and strength, recording 93 tackles, 33 tackles for loss, 27 quarterback hurries, and 17 sacks as a senior, leading Powell to a 13-2 record in a Class 5A state championship. A 2-sport star, football and track, he won a state shot put title, showcasing his athleticism. Nolen committed to Texas A&M over offers from, listen to this list, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. He could have stayed right there. I mean, UT is maybe 18 minutes south of where he went to high school, and he ended up going to Texas A&M. Says viewed as a generational talent with all-American potential. College statistics. Nolen's 3-year college career from 22 through 24 across Texas A&M and Ole Miss reflects consistent growth, culminating in a breakout 2024. In 2022 at Texas A&M, he played 10 games, recording 29 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. In 23, he played 12 games, posting 37 tackles, 4 sacks, and 1 pass breakup, earning second-team All-SEC honors. Transferring to Ole Miss in 24, he played 13 games, exploding for 48 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 pass breakups, earning first-team All-SEC and first-team All-American honors with an elite PFF grade of 88.9. So his career totals in college, 35 games, 114 tackles, 11.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 3 fumble recoveries, and 3 pass breakups. When you look at the PFF grades, 68.1, 72.5, and then boom, 88.9 elite grade. Last year's run defense grade, 91.6. Pass rush grade is 75.0. Detailed scouting report. A 1-year starter at Ole Miss. Nolen played 3 technique tackle. What are we always talking? He's the – Greg Cosell said this is the only true power 3 technique defensive tackle in this draft, okay? And what we mean by power is – isn't it funny how people say, well, when you get to the league, you got to have pass rush moves because you can't just win with power in the league. That's true. But I'll tell you what else, when we like these finesse pass rushers and this and that, you can't give a player power. You can't. You've either got it or you don't. Like, you've got to work your ass off to develop a true power move if you don't already have one in the arsenal. And that's what Greg Cosell harped on with him. He said, when I turn on the tape, I see Jalen Carter. That's what he said. And I didn't just see it this year. I seen it last year. Chris Ann just said it, Jalen Carter Jr. That's Greg Cosell talking, not me. So 3 technique defensive coordinators, Pete Golding's 4-2-5 base scheme. We run the majority of our scheme is a 4-2-5 defense. So he would be a 3-tech and a 4-2-5. Perfect fit. Occasionally lining up over or outside the tackle, a consensus top 5 recruit out of high school. He played 2 mediocre seasons at Texas A&M before transferring to Oxford, where he had his best season in 24, joining Patrick Willis as the only consensus All-Americans from the front 7 in school history. So him and Patrick Willis are the only 2 players at Ole Miss to accomplish that. His length and surge off the ball, Nolen creates immediate force and can be a play wrecker with how quickly he penetrates gaps. The type of leverage that creates holding calls. He doesn't rely on just quickness to win, but there are inefficiencies in his attack, especially when he is late to read the play. Overall, Nolen has areas of his game that require maturing, but he flashes big-time disruption in his initial burst and fast physical hands to regularly affect the backfield action. He will be attractive for NFL teams looking for an active gap shooter and high-end upside. That's Dane Brugler saying that, not us, okay? Strengths: explosive first step with equally explosive hands. Has initial movements to cross face, shoots gaps, and live in gaps. Weaponizes length to stab and flashes a twitchy slap arm over move. That's that swat and swim, right, that we always talk about. Relies on get-off quickness as his source of power to create push at contact. Rangy athlete for his size with the secondary quickness to finish behind the line of scrimmage. Quick to find his balance to react to the ball carrier and get him on the ground. Strong tackler in close quarters, rarely miss tackles. Give me some of that. I mean, my goodness, right? That's the only thing Devontae Wyatt's game kind of struggled with at this point. So you couple those two together, that could be a strong, strong future moving forward. Able to plant his post leg and hold his own against doubles. Plays hard and his effort doesn't see major dips snap to snap. Production improved each season. Finished top 3 among FBS interior defensive linemen in tackles for loss in 2024. Injury and character concerns we're going to get to here in just a second. I want to get your all's thoughts up to this point. Just a quick minute or two from each of you. We'll wrap this hour up and continue Walter Nolen on the second hour.
Freaking monster. You are not double teaming Walter Nolen. I don't care who you think you are. It's not going to happen. It's one of the things I like the most about his tape is his ability to get off the block. He's just a beast in the trenches. And I think with the departure of TJ Slayton, this is a good step in the right direction if you're trying to fill that void on the D line.
Yeah, Tim kind of stole my thunder because I was going to talk when they highlight the fact that he's able to plant his post leg and hold his own against doubles. That to me screams, okay, we got to find somebody that can help out with what Slayton used to do. And although, Slayton used to get a lot of flack for not being the best, either a 1-tech or a 3-tech, whatever he did, he still has a job that he was somewhat doing. He's got a job that we got to fill now. And I love the fact that it sounds like he's got a motor on this guy and he plays aggressive. And I like, what did they say? Something about how his effort doesn't see major dips snap to snap. That to me is what I want. I want a guy with a relentless motor, especially because if he is part of this, we talk about the rotation at edge, about how it's a hockey rotation. There is a mini version of that on the D line as well. Not maybe as pronounced, but definitely when you got a guy like him and Wyatt, which could be, I don't want to say that they'd both be, I think Wyatt is more of a pass rush specialist type guy. And you could see Nolen as maybe a more all 3 downs type player where he could be more of a steady Eddie and really be that there for our base. And it'd be cool. He's starting to grow on me quite a bit.
Yeah. H.E. Solder says, are Wyatt and Nolen different enough to coexist? I believe so. Yeah. Because again, Walter Nolen is really, really good against the run. Devontae Wyatt is really, really good against the pass. Right. So to me, it's peanut butter and jelly right there. You know what I mean? Like They will complement each other, in my opinion. And again, when they go to double team Nolen, if he's not playing, if it's not called to play a touch spy, that dude, he can hold his own against double teams, no doubt. So that's why it's so important to play with power. But that's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we're going to continue this Walter Nolen breakdown, and then we're going to jump into Jordan Birch's prospect profile as well in hour 2. We appreciate y'all.
For those of you listening on the pod,
welcome in hour 2. Hopefully everybody's having a great day. Hopefully you made it in hour 2. If you didn't, you didn't hear me ask that, right? So there you go. Let's move it along. Injury and character concerns. Nolen has been durable, playing 35 games over 3 seasons and no major injuries reported. A minor ankle sprain in 2023 caused him to miss 1 half, but no full games. That's interesting, especially as violent as he plays at D tackle. A minor ankle sprain in 2023 caused him to miss 1 half, but no full games. Off the field, Nolen is a high character leader, praised for mentoring younger teammates at Ole Miss and earning 2024 team captain honors. His community service, including youth camps, underscores his maturity. Coaches highlight his work ethic and adaptability with no off-the-field issues. So obviously an incomplete RAS card, 6'3", 296 with 32.5-inch arm length. Pretty solid there. The shuttle was a 4.76, which showed to be, measure out as poor, but we have nothing else on him. He's one of those dudes. You want to see how athletic he is, turn on the tape. That's all you got to do. So
we'll take him out for butter burgers too. Get him up to weight. He can put some weight on.
Exactly. Draft projection. Walter Nolen projects as a mid to late first round. Like I see people saying he'll be gone by 23, right? Here's the projection. A mid to late first round pick in the 2025 NFL draft, aligning with his number 19 ranking on our PTA big board. His elite athleticism, showcased by his on-the-field burst and power, makes him a perfect fit for Green Bay's need for a versatile, disruptive defensive tackle. His ceiling is a perennial all-pro. If he refines his leverage, while his floor is a high-end rotational lineman, the Packers' visit combined with his Reese Senior Bowl dominance signals strong interest, and his 2024 tape could cement top 20 stock. He is third among defensive tackles on our PTA big board. Obviously, we got Mason Graham, we got Kenneth Grant, and then we've got Walter Nolen. So here's the most recent mock draft information. All right. April 14th, he went number 32 to the Eagles. April 14th, he went 30th to the Bills. April 14th, he went 30th to the Bills by someone at CBS. April 14th, 32nd to the Eagles. April 14th, 32nd to the Eagles by two different people from CBS. And April 14th, Fantasy Pros had him going number 20 to the Broncos, so that would suggest you'd have to hop up if you want to get him, right? And then USA Today, Nate Davis on April 14th had him going 29th to Washington. The 33rd team, Kyle Krabs, had him going 32 to the Eagles. Pro Football Focus, Jordan Plocher, April 14th, had him going number 30 to the Bills. And then Walter Football on April 14th had him going 17th to the Steelers. So you see the majority of these have him going after the Packers pick. But there are two in these most recent mock drafts that have him going before the Packers pick. So that's where he's currently sitting in terms of draft projection. Emilio joins us now. Better late than never. I know you've been out there on the grind, bro. We're just talking a little Walter Nolen, man. I don't know how much of that conversation you heard, but before we wrap up Walter Nolen talk, what do you think, man?
Excited about him, right? Explosive, a nasty kind of player. He doesn't worry about what's going on down there. He just wants to get to the ball. He's like Danny Bateman. Just give me that ball, Danny. That's what I need out of somebody. I love to see that. I was just looking. PFF had him 8th, and right now, if you throw that in there into the board, he'd come in right there next to Shamar Stewart, pretty much. So he'd be closing in on 16th, I think. So
interesting, very interesting. Greg Rice says, "Is he better than Graham and Grant?" That's what Greg Cosell said. Greg Cosell said he's the best defensive tackle in this draft. Now, again, that's one person, right?
But you're also talking about a pair, Greg, that played on the same team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Versus a guy that was just owning in Ole Miss.
Yeah, and then like Jacob said earlier, all of a sudden now he's the second best defensive tackle on the PFF big board. Is that right, Jacob?
Yes.
Pretty wild. So, again, we're going to keep our board intact. We're not changing anything. You guys know how we're rolling there. All right, there we go. H.E. Soder, what is Texas A&M doing that makes high RAS defensive linemen look so bad? Nolen left and Stewart did nothing in college. I really don't know how to answer that, Soder. I don't, man. I think there is a little common occurrence there. Texas A&M is a weird program though, because it was pretty much common knowledge before NIL hit. They were paying a ton of players to get that huge class in there. I think Walter Nolen was probably a part of that because if you guys remember, Nick Saban called his old protege out, if I remember right. He kind of made a shot there, basically sent a shot across the bow going, yeah, they're paying the hell out of those players while we're not, which who's to know Bama wasn't too. So I don't know. You guys got an answer for Soder there, man? I hate for you to waste a super chat. I'm not going to BS you and make up an answer, though, but I really not.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Someone was talking about they asked him to do a lot different stuff. Just that, put on weight, don't, take off the weight to, get into this position type stuff. But I don't remember which pod I heard it on. But, yeah, no, I think you're right. There's something there, but – I mean, Shamar came out of there. Dude's a freak, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I remember listening to a podcast recently, and they actually talked about the lack of production from him at A&M, and they actually compared it to the fact of we don't know exactly what the D-line coach, what the defensive coordinator is asking him to do, like you kind of just highlighted, Emilio, and he actually likened it to Rashawn Gary at Michigan, where he didn't let Rashawn Gary necessarily become the freak off the edge that he probably could have, because his role was more about being a edge setter, a run defender, not over pursuing, a lot of that kind of stuff. So obviously a different position, but probably maybe in that same vein.
Yeah, no, I remember when Rashawn Gary came out, I had a good buddy named Jeremy who's a big Michigan fan. I'm like, hey, tell me about this Gary dude, man. The stats don't look good. He went, you're going to love him. He said they asked him to play inside as an interior defensive tackle. And, bro, he told me, he said, go look up this one clip. There's a clip where 4 guys are trying to block Gary, and he walks all 4 of them to the ball carrier horizontally across the field. Sure enough, found the clip. He was like, if they put him on the edge, he'll eat. And that's what Gary's done. Obviously, he's been the best pass rusher in Green Bay for a long time now. So J. Cole says Texas A&M were more focused on them stopping the run instead of rushing the QB. That sounds familiar, don't it, boys? Sounds familiar. So, all right. So there you go. Anybody else? And again, Solder, thank you for the super chat, but hopefully we gave you enough of an answer there, man. Appreciate the support. Anything else on Walter Nolen before we move on to the next guy here?
Nope.
All right. So I want to do a mock draft tonight because, again, we're running out of time, and I want to do as many as possible. I'm going to kind of take the helm in this, and I'm going to bounce ideas off of you guys tonight.
He learned from last night.
Dude, last night's draft was
Get
great.
ready to go.
What'd you say, Amelia? It was
I
great.
said last night's draft was great.
All day long, all I was doing was going, there's a notification. Oh, God. Just dinged all day long by comments. Has anybody checked on, what was his name? Timothy? Was it? Yeah,
Timothy. No, haven't seen him.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, man, 3 different times today on a mower, headset in, listening to a pod, and I just immediately thought of United Bates saying he just threw his guinea pig. And I started crying, laughing again. It was one of my favorite moments on this podcast. It was
I did too.
So, yeah, he's buying new guinea pigs. What respect to
Wait. Look at Clint said this about 40 minutes ago.
God, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch the last 15 or 20 minutes of last night's show and embrace yourself. It broke me up, man. It broke me up completely. All right, so the reason I bring that up, we've got time to do a mock, or we can hit Jordan Birch. We could go through Jordan Birch real quick, and we'll save Ty Felton and the QB that we had in as well, Taylor Elgersma. What do you guys want to do? You want to go ahead and jump into the mock draft, or we want to hit Jordan Birch? Because I want your all's feedback here. What do you think?
Mock draft.
Mock draft. All right. So we're going to hold Jordan Birch to tomorrow. Is that okay with you, Tim?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's do that then. So let's get this mock draft queued up. We're going to use the same system that we used last night, and that is going to be obviously the let me make a note here before I forget. I apologize, guys.
Mock draft database.
Mock draft database is what we're going to roll with here. Okay. So let's go ahead and get this thing cranked up. Emilio, will you work the board for me a little bit if you can, sir? Would that be okay?
Always. I got you.
All right. So I would like to do a trade back like you guys did last night because I thought that really set us up for success. I thought you guys crushed the first 2 picks. I absolutely loved. I thought they were great. So let's just and the last one, Sean Dolak, right? The only B grade we had on the draft. So, all right, let's just go straight to the 23rd pick here, and let's see who's available. All right, we'll try not to go too slow, and I'll try to incorporate the Jacob. If you'll work the chat for me a little bit, let me know what people are thinking. That'd be great too. So, all right, so the
whoa,
Chiefs are offering.
That's not realistic, is it?
I don't think so.
First, second, and third. We can't do that. The most I'll take is a third. I feel like that's realistic. So let's cancel that out. Let's see who's on the board here, gents. So best available is Shamar Stewart, 14th best prospect. Obviously, he's at the top of the Packers list. Seems to be anyway. Mike Green in the 17th spot. Jahad Campbell at 19. Malachi Starks at 21. Omarion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina, 24. Gray Zabel, Jackson Dart. You've got Walter Nolen. So you got a bunch to choose from here. So defensive tackle, Walter Nolen will not be there at 54. A lot of these guys won't be, right? So what we got here is Walter Nolen will probably be my pick at defensive tackle, hands down. Edge would be Shamar Stewart. Is he higher than James Pierce Jr. or is it James Pierce Jr.?
Oh, no, James Pierce is higher. Sorry, 12.
Okay. So Shamar Stewart and James Pierce Jr. are the best edge defenders here. Cornerback, it got thin quick, didn't it?
Wow.
So we got Maxwell Harrison at 36, Savone Revel Jr. at 37, Trey Amos at 40, and Azare Thomas at 44. So
we want to try and get a corner in the first 3 rounds.
I don't know. I really don't operate the draft like that. Like I got to get a corner in the first three. It just depends on how the board falls. Right now, the one that's got my attention is obviously Savone Revel and Trey Amos. Those are the two that are, Savone Revel is the highest on our board. Trey Amos is a solid pick there somewhere in the second round. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to duplicate the trade that you guys had last night. And it was Baltimore, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give up 23 for 27 and 91. They said, yep, they'll do it again. So we're going to trade back. I see Nick Buka just went, so we're missing out on receiver big time right now. Defensive tackle Walter Nolen is still there. Edge defender Mike Green and James Pierce Jr. are still there. Where's Mike Green on our board, Emilio?
Mike Green is position 18.
Okay, and again, you got the personal issues there, right? So that's
right.
tough.
And James Pierce is still at 12.
Yeah. So if I want to target Trey Amos and he's in the 40 spot, right? This is kind of aggressive, I guess you could say, to try to maneuver yourself to get a Trey Amos. I'm wondering if we should try to trade back up, like maybe group 54 and maybe 124 or something like that to try to jump up a few spots. But again, Trey Amos may go earlier, so you put yourself in a bind. These are the decisions that Goody's got to make, obviously, on draft night. So wide receiver, Jaden Higgins is there. Trey Harris is there as well. So if we trade back, we're going to miss out on Walter Nolen here. And Walter Nolen, again, is where 19 on our board, right?
Correct.
So it's going to come down to Edge, James Pierce Jr., or Walter Nolen for us here.
I'm seeing a lot of Nolen in the chat.
That's what I'm feeling too here. Part of me wants to try to trade back one more time. Just a couple picks. He'll probably go, though. Interesting. Let's do it. Let's go Walter Nolen here. I'm just wondering if I should go ahead and put together a trade to try to get up above, let's say, somewhere around the 40 mark. You know what I mean? And it's hard to know who's got that because it won't let us scroll ahead of time here. If we go to put together a trade, and let's say we tried to let's take that 91 that we picked up, and let's see if we can get up to, see, there's no way of knowing who's in the 40 spot. So let's see, Carolina, no. I just want to look at this real quick. Dallas is 44, right? So let's see what it would take here. 1-for-1 trade not allowed is what it says. That's interesting. All right, so let's see if we give up a fourth. They said no, so that's not going to be enough, right? So if we give up 91, and let's say 87, they still won't do it. So you're seeing, man, it's really not going to be worth it to try to get back up there, is it? Really not.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. And again, 44 might not even get it done. So we're gonna go Walter Nolen here, and then we're gonna stick and pick from here on out. Let's see if we can make magic happen. Walter Nolen is your pick.
Nice.
7.
Yeah, I just saw Amos go.
Yeah,
and Morrison just went before us. Darn it.
Ooh.
So here we are in no man's land with cornerback once again, even with trading back and having multiple picks there, right? So we got 54, 87, and 91. Wide receiver, though, there's Trey Harris. Really, really like him in that spot for sure. Let's see, just take a glance. Again, Trey Harris is going to be going 62. Now's the time to get him, right? I kind of like Jack Besh. Where's Jack Besh on our board, Amelia? I think he's significantly lower.
Besh is 77.
So Besh is 77. He's 60.
Harris is 49.
Whew. That's good value here at 54, isn't it, man?
Yep.
Really good value.
No guarantee Besh
Let me
is
just-
at
let me
87
just-
either.
Slide this by you, Clay. 42 on our board, Jalen Milroe.
Son of a bitch.
You got me mid-drink there, Amelia. I about to spit that on the old keyboard. What do y'all think? Chat, let us know. We go Jalen Milroe here, pick 54.
Don't.
What do y'all think?
Don't.
How dare
I'm going to
you?
pause for dramatic effect. What are you doing, Amelia?
Working the board.
I'm working the board. Working yourself out of a job, what you doing? All right, I think it's a no-brainer, boys. I think we've got to go Trey Harris. And again, we're probably going to have to roll with the cornerback room we got if we don't go in the first round. That's really what it comes down to here. We could have got Savone Revel, but we wouldn't have got Walter Nolen, right? And if we went that route, we could have gotten Tyleek Williams here at 54, but now we're not going to get a wide receiver. So you've got to kind of choose. you got three positions is the way this mock draft's looking. All the mock drafts we've done. You got three positions you'd really like to hit. D tackle, you'd like to hit corner, and you'd like to hit wide receiver. You can't have all three. You got to pick between them. So when you take that into consideration, Christian Watson's out. I felt our cornerback room held their own without Jaire last year. So, and you picked up Nate Hobbs. What receiver did you pick up? Mecole Hardman. I think we would all agree, based off the money you gave Nate Hobbs as opposed to the minimal contract you gave Mecole Hardman, they're expecting far greater things out of Nate Hobbs as opposed to Hardman, right? So I'm going to go Trey Harris here. Pick 54. Wide receiver out of Ole Miss. All right, now we're back on the clock at pick 87. Look, somebody was offering us something for pick 89 there. That was interesting. Best on the board, Alec Ayamanor, if I'm saying that right. Jordan Birch. You got Darian Porter. Emilio, where is Darian Porter on our big board, sir? Darian Porter. We're going to look at several corners here, Emilio.
Darian Porter, 71.
All right, so he's 71. Where's Dorian Strong?
Dorian Strong, 160.
Quincy Riley?
Quincy Riley, 210.
Jeez.
So it's Darian Porter here at pick 87, or you're not going to get any decent corner, right? Does he meet the athletic threshold, Emilio?
Oh, yeah.
Porter.
Huh?
Porter does, yes. And
Okay.
cornerback outside. That's how we have him.
Yeah. So Porter, and I know people are saying the age is too old. He's too old. The athletic threshold also includes the age factor there as well.
-6 RAS, so he had a 10 or at least a 9.9.
Whoo!
And he's like 6'3" or something.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just think that's in our back pocket there, Tim. That might be the cornerback we go here. It's 71 on the consensus big board. Where is he at on our board again, Emilio, roughly?
He is
71.
He's 71 on our board. PFF had him 41st, and consensus had him 91 when we took it.
Well, that's sounding good, ain't it?
Can you scroll down a little?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, right there. Okay. Noel Williams, Kobe Bryant. So if we don't go corner here, do we take a shot at 91 or 124 on one of those guys?
To me, they're and you could check them real quick. Where's Noel Williams and Kobe
Noel
Bryant?
is right behind Dorian Strong at 161.
Okay, so he's way lower. What about Kobe Bryant?
COB.
Kobe.
He is 132.
It's probably Jaire Alexander. Jaire Alexander's probably the highest, right? Where's he at on our board?
I'm pretty sure he is up there. Hold on. Zai is 93rd.
See, there you go.
So
taking him at 91, possibly.
Still, though, it's how many spots? 20, almost a full round difference.
Yeah.
Between those two. All right, so what's another need? Let's think about this a second. We got wide receiver, we got defensive tackle. Jordan Birch obviously would be a great fit here, right?
Whole line.
Just go Jared Ivey and go all miss, baby.
Where's Birch on ours, Emilio?
Birch is 66.
Wow. So he's better than Darian Porter, right?
Correct. Jared Ivey, though, is 51 on our board.
Does he beat the athletic?
He's 2 tiers higher. He's in tier 45. Birch is in tier 55.
What about the athletic threshold?
Birch has it, and Ivy does not.
There you go. And again, I'm not saying I would be, okay with disregarding because of the athletic. It's just what would Goody do here, right?
Right.
Probably would go Birch over Ivy.
Birch is 1 tier above Porter on the board, being at 66. Porter at 71.
And Ivy honestly might be there at 124. Here's what I'm thinking: who's more likely to go? This is when you're working the board. Who's more likely to go first, Jordan Birch or Darian Porter? According to this, Darian Porter is ranked lower than Birch, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Birch at 87 and pray to sweet baby Jesus that Porter is still there at 91. He probably will not be. If he is gone, then we just got to accept the fact that we go Kobe Bryant. So if that's the game plan here, I want to go around the horn and ask everybody here right now, what's more important to us, getting a cornerback or an edge defender? I know my answer. I don't want to ruin it for y'all.
I don't like the type of edge. If it's Burke, I'd rather not have Burke. I'd rather have Ivy if we were picking edges, and I would rather have Porter over both of those.
Okay. So what do you think, Tim, Amelia? Which one would you go here, Porter or Birch here?
I would take Birch just because it's the more expensive position. It's going to be, in the long run where you need to add in rotation. I think we have a couple corners we're not mad at right now.
Looks like the majority of the chat's saying edge, but like Coach Lynn says, but you got LV and Gary, right? And you got Brenton Cox Jr.
Yes.
It's the whole Jaire thing, right? Like Dorian Strong could end up being that outside corner, 6'3", blazing speed, stuff. I feel like it's more important in our particular situation with Jaire and everything we just read from Rob Domofsky and obviously Spoon. I know the chat's saying edge, and you guys know how I feel about edge. I think it's way more important than corner. But right now, how many snaps is he going to get as a third-round pick, right, at edge? As we're Porter probably going to be competing for a starting job. I'm going to go Porter and maybe hope Birch is there when we pick again here in a second, right? So we're going to go Darian Porter, the 87th pick. All right. Now we're back on the clock. Jordan Birch is gone. All right. So we chose Porter over Birch. That's the decision we had to make. Now let's go back to the all. Demetrius Knight, Shamar Turner, Harold Fannin Jr., Wyatt Malum, Cam Scatabo, Andrew Makuba. I'm still got PTSD from last night.
Makuba, baby.
Stop it. Amelia, stop.
So when you look at these best available here, we were going to go edge. Again, I don't think we need edge. I'm not sitting here going, boys, we got to get an edge in this draft.
Can we just draft Wyatt Malum and get this pick over with?
Where's Wyatt Malum on the board, Emilio?
Malum is...
Or Ozzy.
Start with Malum here.
I was spelling his last name wrong. He is 58.
So he's 58. Where's Ozzy Trapillo?
Ozzy is not pulling up. He's on the board. There he is, 90.
So it would definitely be Wyatt Malum if we went offensive line here, right? The edge doesn't make sense just because, and I know you like Jared Ivey, Jacob, and I know he's really high on our board. But again, him not meeting the athletic threshold makes me think Goody probably wouldn't pull the trigger. If you and I were building a team, I'd take Jared Ivey. But I know there's going to be people go, oh, he'll never do that. So for
David Walker, 87th, Edge, Central Arkansas.
Does he meet the threshold?
No, he's
He
short.
does not.
Yeah. See, that's
He was a captain.
You got that C. That C on the chest.
What about Demetrius Knight? Where's he at, Emilio?
Demetrius Knight.
Yes.
I think we're lower on him. I could be wrong, though.
Mr. Knight is 73rd.
Where's Stutzman?
Stutzman was at 100 last I remember.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So Demetrius Knight is higher then.
No, Stutzman is 92.
Okay, so it's still Demetrius Knight's higher.
Correct.
So the picks that we're coming down to right here, guys, is Demetrius Knight, who's in the 72 spot on the consensus big board, and we've got Wyatt Malum, who's 78.
I like Malum, man. The guy's real good.
All right, we're going to go Wyatt Malum, offensive tackle out of West Virginia. Amelia, what do you think about it? Pretty good pick?
Yeah, he's we have him 3 tiers higher than Demetrius Knight. I think that's a steal. Always for building that wall.
Love it. All right, got an A+ there. So, again, just to recap the first 4 picks. The 27th pick, we went Walter Nolen out of Ole Miss. 54, we went Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. 87th, we went Darian Porter out of Iowa State. Got our cornerback, a speed freak there, 6'3". Wyatt Malum at offensive tackle. We got him in the 91 spot. So I feel like we're covering our bases pretty good here, man. This is looking pretty good to me. Let's go back to all. Charles Grant is the best available. Billy Bowman, Gunnar Helm, Torrey Horton.
There it is.
Yeah, I'm not taking Torrey Horton because there's no room in the wide receiver room. Like we're gonna be kicking people out of the room.
Where's Gunnar Helm on our board? Excelio.
Helm.
I think he's low.
Yeah, what if he went back and got Dorian Strong and really solidified that cornerback room?
Helm is 68th, Tim.
68?
He is actually a tier higher than Mr. Demetrius Knight.
Wow.
And 1 tier higher than Mr. Charles Grant.
Gunnar Helm is?
That is correct.
Man,
Can we be getting them at 124?
It'd be great value, but again, when you look at the tight end room, not that you wouldn't be willing to cut Fitzpatrick or someone, but I don't know, man. For some reason, I just don't like it right here. I feel like we can get a solid tight end a little later. Gunnar Helm, man, in that 12 personnel, though, with Tucker
He's in the
Kraft.
same tier as Jordan Birch was with Darius Alexander. They're all in the same tier together.
What about the threshold?
He does not meet it.
See, you're withholding information over there, man.
That's
You're
right,
telling me.
dude.
Well, I don't want to say hard eyes every time. No, somebody could have picked a better emoji.
I was thinking today, the spade we put on the perfect guys.
Yeah.
Why didn't we use a diamond? A diamond would be perfect for that.
Oh, that's right. Maybe I could find one.
The spade looks pretty good. I ain't gonna lie, though, man. That black spade looks good. All right, where's Charles Grant on the board?
Charles Grant's right below Gunnar Helm at 70th.
Okay, so Gunnar Helm's the best available, it sounds like, right? What about linebacker? They're gone now. Jack Kaiser, boy, I love it, dude. Corner Dorian Strong, Kobe Bryant, Jaire Alexander, Upton Stout, edge defender Jared Ivy's there. God, I wish he was an athletic threshold meat, man. Of course, drafting 3 Ole Miss guys, Tim, that's just insane, ain't it, dude? Like, we can have a team in house here.
Exactly. Can we look at D-line one more time? Just curious. Who's up there? CJ West, Jordan Phillips, Peebles.
There's Pegues.
There we go.
You might as well bring him in. They can just Nolen and Pegues can go at it again.
Can you look at interior offensive line?
Yeah, Charles Grant, Dylan Fairchild, Caleb Rogers, Jackson Slater.
I feel like Grant would actually be a tackle, but I don't know.
Yeah. Where do we have him on our board, Emilio? Do we have Charles Grant in a tackle or interior offensive line?
We have him as interior.
Okay. All right.
PFF's got him as a tackle.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We have him as a tackle. That's on me.
Okay.
I was looking at the wrong guy.
He's played exclusively left tackle his whole career, almost 2,500
He was a captain, not trying to withhold information, but nothing else.
Got it. So Gunnar Helm does not meet the threshold, correct?
Correct.
Aronde Gatson, does he?
He does. He's at 180 on the board, though.
Yeah.
Get him later, right? What about Jalen Conyers at 187 on this board? Greg Cosell loves him. What do you think about Jalen Conyers?
L-I-N.
Jalen
is 152. East West Shrine has met the threshold. PFF 22-16, 23-56, 24-21. PFF Big Board had him 185 and 269 for consensus.
Got it.
-5 RAS, and Greg Cosell liked him.
Gunnar Helm is hands down the best prospect that we're looking at, right?
Correct.
He really is. Offensive tackle, there's nothing really there immediate. Edge is Jared Ivey, but again, if you're going to go against the athletic threshold, this will be the time to do it. You know what? We've got an article. Of course, I don't have time to pull it up. I wonder who it was. Donnerson. Donnerson was 6'2", was it 250 some pounds? What do we have a height on him? Anybody? Jared Ivey. What's his height?
I believe he's 6'2" or 6'3".
Okay. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Jared Ivey here. I'm going to go against the athletic threshold.
Yeah.
Where's he at on the board, Emilio?
Sorry, Ivy is 51st. He is in tier 45, like Alfred Collins, Gray Zabel, and Princely.
And Gunnar Helm is below them?
That is correct.
Right,
PFF has Ivy listed as 6'6", 285. We sure he doesn't fit the threshold?
With also, how they tested in certain aspects. So, like, if he didn't meet like the 3-cone or whatever that threshold was for duty, if he did the drill and didn't meet it, then that would eliminate him, right? If he didn't do the drill and he hasn't yet been disqualified from the threshold, we'll keep the threshold mark on him. If that makes sense. So there's something there for sure that Ivy didn't meet the threshold on. So, all right. So we're flying blind now. Emilio had to go flip the meat, I believe. Right? All right. That'll be perfect. All right. So Jared Ivey was the pick at 124. Is Gunnar Helm gone, Tim? Gunnar Helm's gone, man. So there's
Aronde Gatson.
There's another decision we have to think about making late, right? Like you could get a solid prospect in Gunnar Helm, but we went Jared Ivey instead. I think we would all agree probably edge is more important than tight end in that regard, Aronde Gatson was a little lower on our board, right, Emilio?
Yes, he was. He is 180.
180. All right. So Jackson Halls, let's do a quick little tight end search here, if you don't mind, Emilio.
Hawyes.
Hawyes. Yeah.
151.
Big blocker tight end, pretty much exclusively.
And he has a threat. He meets the threshold. He can block.
Okay. Let's see what Grinning Possum says here. I like it. Should we be thinking about backup right tackle in late rounds to have someone behind Zach Tom? Malum is solid, but likely moves inside at the NFL. That's a great point. Great point.
There's no need,
That
Possum.
is a
We got
possum in a dumpster.
Don't you say it,
Travis Glover as a
Emilio.
backup. There's no need.
Thank you for the super chat, Possum. That's a great point, man. And you're kind of getting in that range. Like, we love Chase Lunt, but it's going to look like a reach according to this mock. Where is Chase Lunt, Logan Brown, those two guys on our board?
And Chase Lunt exclusively right tackle all 3 years and graded real well.
Senior Bowl, 84th on the board.
Whoa.
It's going to look like a – where's Logan Brown at?
Brown is 352, but he was a threshold, and the Packers met with him.
Last one, and I'll stop bothering you. Johnny Cornelius. Ajani.
Thank you for spelling. 198. We have him at tackle, Oregon Senior Bowl, threshold meet. He was 5th best in 22, 34th best in 23, and 99th best in 24.
This is a no-brainer. It's going to be Chase Lunt. Now, here's the thing. They're going to give us a bad grade because they've got 4 other tackles ranked higher. Now, we know, according to our board, Chase Lunt is way better than that, right? So
we'll get an A. We'll get an A.
You think so? Let's see.
Yeah.
So with the 159th pick, the Packers are taking UConn offensive tackle Chase Lunt.
C+.
Yeah. So again,
that's a good grade.
You know, they got moved through school. All right. So I like that pick though, man. That's good value according to our board. So all right. So let's recap real quick. Make sure we're covering all the bases. 27th pick, Walter Nolen, defensive tackle. 54, we went Trey Harris, wide receiver. 87, we went Darian Porter, cornerback. 91, we went offensive tackle Wyatt Malum. He'll most likely kick inside. 124, we went edge Jared Ivey. 159, we went offensive tackle Chase Lunt, someone to compete for that swing tackle spot. Anything stick out to you guys in terms of a direct need that we may be overlooking here?
Kobe King, linebacker.
Let's look at linebacker real quick. We could use another linebacker in that room, right?
Stack, yeah.
Oh, that got ugly quick. Who's this guy right here? Where do we got Sean Dolak at, Emilio?
My boy, 186.
Where's Kobe King on our board, Emilio?
Kobe King is 143.
That'd be good value here, wouldn't it? Let's keep that in mind. Tim, what are you thinking here position-wise, man? Is there something we're overlooking, bro?
Maybe corner one more time.
That's a good point.
Anybody left? Oh, there's my favorite midget, Upton Stout. Let's see. I'm with you on linebacker.
All right. Where's let's look at some of these corners real quick. Upton Stout, where's he at on the board?
Whoa. Sorry. Upton is 166.
Okay, so yeah, that's pretty good value, right?
Marshall is 340.
Yeah, and that's one we did a top 30 visit with, right? It's just
correct.
What about Mello Dotson or Jalen Smith? Those guys.
What about Jabbar Muhammad? Yeah, any of those. Elijah Huzzy.
We're working him like a dog over there. I love
Mello is 172. What's the other one? Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith is 205.
Yeah. There's got to be something better, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Let's go back up. Best available. Let's work the immediate board here. Logan Brown, Emilio. Where's Logan Brown? Will we take a third offensive lineman?
He's in the 300s.
Brown. Threshold. Packers met with him. He's 352nd.
That's ugly. That's real ugly.
I feel like Kobe King, right? Or Dante Thornton. Hey?
Can I?
Could take Arondé Gadsden here.
It would make sense here, wouldn't it, Emilio?
Yes.
It would. Add another tight end in the room. It's going to look bad on the grade. No two ways about it.
180 we have Gadsden at with threshold.
I'm telling you guys, he's going to be a baller.
Yeah. Remind us again where Thor is, Emilio.
Yes.
Is Thor gone again?
Thor is 128.
Yeah, he's going a lot sooner. They caught on, didn't they?
Dang it.
Yeah, he's going real
they
quick.
did.
All right, so I think we're going to go with Rondé Gatson here, boys. That good with you guys?
I like it.
Because we really don't like the linebackers that much, right? Kobe King's significantly lower. Which one's higher, Rondé Gatson or Kobe King? Do you remember?
Kobe King's got to be higher.
Think so?
Kobe King is 142. Yeah, Gadsden was 180.
And let's see where Gatson is set to go here. Gadsden's going to go 173. He'll be gone.
Let's go Kobe, though.
Kobe King.
Also, Kevin King's brother. Did you guys know that? Or no, I'm sorry. Kalen King's brother.
We're back in the A-plus column, boys. Rondé Gatson, I was listening to Greg Cosell break him down earlier, said he's a dude you want to put at the boundary for sure. Boundary X. He's one of those flexed out, tight end types. So if we hadn't got Trey Harris, a Rondé Gatson late in the draft might be that secret, you know what I mean, to bridging that gap, putting someone a bigger body outside. So, all right, up next, there's Cody Simon, R.J. Mickens.
Drew Kendall, baby.
Where's Drew Kendall on the board, Emilio?
Kendall is 165, center, Boston College threshold.
That'd be good value here, wouldn't it?
Boston College.
What do you think, boys?
That's my pick.
All right, Tim, what do you think about?
What am I thinking? I'm thinking, don't forget about this guy.
Oh, it's going to look ugly on the grade, Tim. I bet he's still there. Is he gone?
Oh,
they catch on, boy.
We got to stop talking about him. I'm deleting that photo.
Wow, I'm deleting that photo. He said.
Clay Webb's another one too.
Yeah. I think Drew Kendall's the pick here, boys. Emilio, what do you think about Drew Kendall here, man? Think that's a good move? I mean, we already got 2 offensive linemen, but we know
D-line.
D-line? You want to see D-line?
Yeah.
Cam Horsley?
Yeah, where's Cam Horsley at? That's a Jeff Halfley guy, right?
Yeah.
Cam Horsley, 294.
Oof.
Yeah. All right. Nothing really there, boys. So,
running back. Ooh, Nick Nash is fast in college football.
On varsity.
Nick Nash is also 119 on the board. East-West Shrine with a threshold meet. So
no, are you serious?
Fast when you play on rookie.
He is fast. Him streak ball, just lob it up right past the dudes.
All right, so Nick Nash meets the threshold.
Yep.
Right? Okay, so we got it narrowed down to Nick Nash, and we said another offensive lineman, right? Which is Drew Kendall. Nick Nash is higher than Drew Kendall, right?
Yeah, by like almost 100 spots.
Wow.
Is Elijah Badger still on the board?
He is, man. Tim, he is way down here. Look at this, man. This is wild. 336.
Nick Nash was 381 in 23, 20th in 24. PFF had him at 106. Consensus had him at 171 with a 0 RAS, so under 7.
All right. Nick Nash, that's the pick, right?
I like it.
So, it's going to be a bad grade. I don't care, though. B+ ain't horrible. All right. Final pick in the draft here. Again, we got 2 receivers, man. That's going to make that room crowded for sure, but we'll see how that all shakes out. So,
wow.
With the final pick here, you said you want to see running back, didn't you, Emilio?
Yes.
Yeah. Real quick, Nick Nash got targeted 171 times last year. That's insane.
That's crazy. Any of those running backs catch your eye there?
The Yarns. I'm pretty sure Yarns is way up there. Marcus Yarns is 75th on our board.
And explain why that is, Emilio, because we're lacking information, right?
PFF 22 is 211, 23 is 12th, PFF 24 50th, PFF big board is 138. We don't have a consensus for him, but he had a -5 RAS, so he was a 9 RAS. He just doesn't meet a threshold is the only thing in a small school, but he did go to the Senior Bowl. So,
H.E. Solder's
23.5.
H.E. Solder's right, man. We could, of all the positions, cornerback's probably what we need the most. Because we're showing two open spots there, especially if Ja's gone, right? Let's see if we can.
Jabbar Muhammad?
Yeah, look up Muhammad real quick for us.
Or Jamari Harris?
Oh, I'm spelling it wrong. 2 B's. Got it. Jabbar is 253.
All right, so that'd be about.
Where was Jalen Smith again?
What's that? Oh, Jaylon or ALIN. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jalen Smith is 205.
There's your
That's
pick.
good. That's good value. Give me one more, Jamari Harris. Well, actually, a couple more because I want to.
Jamari Harris 127. And he's a threshold. The only thing we don't have he was 35th last year. Consensus had him 174. We don't have a PFF big board.
What's the Huzzy?
What's the what?
The Huzzy. HUZ.
She's a nice lady. How dare you? Oh,
how dare you?
Huzzy is 291.
This is Jamari Harris, boys. Hey, good call, Soder. Good call,
nice
man.
job. Dude, I like this draft. I really do.
Too.
You would say that because we had a great one last night, Jacob, and you weren't saying that.
Well, I'll get my ass posted in the comments. I promise you. All right, let's see how the first round shaped up, and we'll get out of here, guys. Shador Sanders went number 1. Why does he keep going number 1 all of a sudden? That's not happening in Tennessee. It's not. Travis Hunter, number 2 to Cleveland. God love him. Will Johnson went number 3 to the Giants. Will Campbell went 4th to the Patriots. Mason Graham 5th to the Jaguars. Tet McMillan 6th to the Raiders. He would look good in that black and silver. Ty Warren went 7th to the Jets. Cam Ward 8th to the Panthers. Once again, Cam Ward going to the Panthers is that's insanity.
It's so weird.
Michael Williams went 9 to the Saints. Abdul Carter 10 to the Bears. Hate that. Jahdae Barron 11 to the 49ers. Hate that. Matthew Golden 12 to the Cowboys. He would be a good fit coming from Texas down there.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Kelvin Banks went 13 to the Dolphins. Ashton Gianti 14 to the Colts. Armand Membu 15 to the Falcons. Derek Harmon 16 to Oregon. Nick Emenware 17 to the Bengals. Josh Simmons 18 to the Seahawks. Jalen Walker 19 to the Bucks. Colston Loveland 20 to the Broncos. Him and Bo Nix would be a good little matchup there. That'd be awesome. Kenneth Grant went 21 to the Steelers. Luther Burden went 22 to the Chargers. Shamar Stewart fell all the way to 23 to the Ravens. Malachi Starks 24 to the Vikings. Emeka Egbuka went 25 to the Texans. Maxwell Harrison went 26 to the Rams. We traded down to 27, of course, and we got Walter Nolen. Then Mike Green goes 28 to the Lions. Yeah. Jahad Campbell, 29 to the Commanders. Savon Revel Jr., 30 to the Bills. Donovan Jackson, 31 to the Chiefs. James Pierce Jr. went 32 to the
course. There should be a law passed. Philly should not be allowed to draft any more defensive players.
I agree. All right, so here's a quick recap of our draft. 27th pick, Walter Nolen, defensive tackle. There's your 3 tech of the future we've been talking about all freaking offseason. Trey Harris, wide receiver, great against man coverage, great hands as well. I think he's 6'1", maybe 6'2" out of Ole Miss. He went 54, so we get us a solid wide receiver there in the second round. Darian Porter, athletic freak. We went cornerback at 87. Number 91, we went Wyatt Malum. He'll kick inside, give us some depth at guard. Jared Ivey, edge defender from Ole Miss, is going to give us an extra rotational piece there at pick 124. Chase Lunt will play swing tackle most likely, or compete for swing tackle to solidify the offensive line a little bit better at 159. Kobe King, linebacker out of Penn State, will be fighting for a roster spot there at pick 198. Nick Nash, wide receiver out of San Jose State. The value was just too darn good. We got him at 237. He met the threshold. And then Jamari Harris, one of my favorite picks, thanks to H.E. Solder, mentioned, hey, go get a cornerback. And most importantly, with this entire mock draft, guys, Clint, armchair quarterback, said no guinea pigs died in the filming of this mock draft. Okay, so
it's important.
What do you think, boys? How'd we do?
I honestly love it. I really do. I don't think I'd change. Well, I mean, the way that the draft presented itself, I thought that we executed as well as we could. That's what I think. Other than Emilio trying to shove Dolak down our throat every 2 seconds.
Hey, I got to stick up for my man. But yeah, I don't think it was too bad, Clay. I like how you addressed the 3 needs right away. It's really just the order that it's going to happen. I think that we need to keep hammering these. It's crazy how it's closing in almost a week out. So I like it.
I'm going to tweet it out and say, go easy on us. All right, let's see what people say.
Oh, but you wouldn't tweet out ours last night, huh?
Emilio, I would, listen. It's like I'm going to get in trouble if I say what I want to say here, so I'm just going to keep it. There was an old saying, something is like riding a moped. They're fun to ride, but don't let your friends see you. Probably know what I'm talking about right there. So, all right. Clint says info on the mock contest. The info is in the chat there. It's pretty straightforward, guys. Listen, you're trying to predict what the Packers are going to do. Whoever predicts it closest, they're going to be the winner. People are asking, can you trade? You can trade, but just keep in mind, I'll say this. If you nail the trade and you know where the Packers are going to trade to and get the pick, you're going to win the mock draft. But boy, oh boy, you're betting the farm on that one trade, right? So, again, it's really simple. The one who gets closest to the mock draft. So let me give you an example. Let's say, the person that gets, let's say, 2 or 3 draft picks right. First and foremost, did the Packers pick that player? Okay, if someone gets 3 of the draft picks that the Packers take, and then someone else gets 3, then you're going to go off who got them in the right spot. If both of those spots are the same, then we're going to go with the latest draft pick having more value, meaning, okay, you guys got the same amount, but the latest draft pick you took, you found that gem that Goody found that he thought, hey, was a late round, guy that they would take, right? So it's really, really simple, straightforward. Is there any other questions having explained that pop up for you guys so we can kind of cover the bases?
Clint's asking which simulator. It doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter.
Just upload a screenshot of your draft, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, just keep in mind that, you only get one submission, and it's got to be in by 11:59 p.m. on the 23rd. Okay, so there's no sliding in here halfway through the first round. Hey, look, here's my mock. You can't do that, okay? We're not playing that game. But also, so keep it in mind, you only get one entry, right? I was going to say you could throw multiple entries in there, but you can only have one by the end. That's going to convolute. That's going to completely cluster up that chat. So let's just do one entry. You can put it in right now if you want, right? But I'd rather you guys not change it before the draft gets here.
Just to be
I'm
clear,
doing mine Wednesday.
Is it a full mock or is it just the first round?
It's 7-round mock.
7-round mock.
Ooh, I like it. All right. Oh, and by the way, guys, I'm a Patreon member. I did it today.
Seen that, man.
Jacob, welcome.
Yeah.
There you go. This dude looks like he's hurting. Those joints are screaming, bro. Not those joints, Emilio. Get your head out of the gutter. All right.
Tell you what.
I'm wondering why they photoshopped the buffet table out of that picture.
I love the guy doing the 40-yard dash time back there. He's like, I don't know why we're wasting our damn time. He's going to go out to lunch real quick and come back. So, all right, everybody go to Twitter and roast me on that mock draft we just posted. So anything else, boys? We good?
Good.
All right, tomorrow we'll hit Jordan Birch, all of his scouting reports since he was a top 30 visit. Ty Felton's an exciting one. I'm telling you, you guys are going to be surprised by Ty Felton. And then Taylor
waiting for the Ty Felton. So one more day, Coach. We'll get it tomorrow.
Another top 30 visit, Taylor Elgersma, right? Quarterback out of Canada. I seen this. I'm not wasting my time putting an article together on this, right? Boys, I talked myself into it, and afterwards I went, this dude is a damn dog. Wait till you guys hear the write-up on him. Go check it out if you're in the Patreon group. You already got access to everything we just talked about. Scan the QR code in the upper right or go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. If you're a member of one of the 3 tiers, you can choose the $3 tier, get you access to everything on the site. We're also going to be giving away an autographed Sean Ryan rookie card this Saturday for one lucky Patreon member.
And we're only 2 away from 100, so whoever wants to be that 100th, we'll get you a coffee mug or something.
Yeah, and I will say this: we're going to be doing draft night giveaways. One of the giveaways for the mock draft contest, just so y'all know, you got to be a Patreon member to enter that contest. Just got these on order today. If I can find them now, they've already disappeared. That's wonderful. Thank you, Pristine Auction, for making that convenient.
Heard it from a fan right here.
I've got to hold on to the Lucas Van Ness jersey that I just got because the guy who won the Lucas Van Ness jersey did not receive the jersey in the mail, and I'm finding out through the post office it got delivered, but somebody copped that jersey. So I don't know if there was a porch pirate or what. So I'm going to hold on to the other one and make sure that we don't find that one that's lost in the mail somewhere. But on top of that, though, I think we got a Javon Bullard autographed jersey, and we also got a Dontavion Wicks autographed jersey. So that'll probably be involved with the giveaways as well. So we got some cool stuff coming up again, just a way for us to give back to those who are giving to the show. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central for PTA Live. Bye. Thanks for the super chat, guys. All of you. Thank you.
And we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.